of a struggle between titans.
You framed that boy.
Framed him! Of a manhunt like nothing you've ever experienced.
I'm a cop now. I'm a husband. What did you do with her? Where is my wife? My wife!
Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jake.
And this is Movie Matters. Today we talk about Orson Welles' Touch of Evil from 1958. This is the last movie of our famous directors that we haven't watched before. That sounds weird when I put it that way. Movies we haven't seen from famous directors. That's a better way to put it. And we chose Orson Welles for this week. And like I said, Touch of Evil. Never seen it. Heard it was great. Also, we wanted to do a shorter movie than the other movies just because these movies have been long lately, which is fine. But we realized we watched different cuts of the movie, but I think the end result is the same, and we can kind of talk about that. I watched mine on Plex. Jake watched his on Amazon Prime. Mine was about 130 minutes, which is the studio cut, and Jake watched one that was about 148, or an hour and 48 minutes.
Hour and 48, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the 1998 re-edit, which I hear is a lot better. So what did you think of that version? Because I've got thoughts on my version.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, technically stunning movie. The plot is fine, but, the movie, the technical aspects of it are just, super incredible for the time. That's, I think, really why it's a good movie. The plot's not bad, but it's, a little, convoluted and, not, presented super well, but the cinematography makes up for it tenfold, so it's okay.
Yeah, the way it's shot, there's some amazing blocking and shots in this movie that are I'm blown the hell away by it from it being in 1958, but the lighting kind of pisses me off a little bit in this movie, even though it's a big part of it. Because this movie basically doesn't use... So, do you know there's 3 types of lighting used for scenes, when they shoot movies? Do you know that technique at all?
No, I don't know any of the technical stuff like that.
There's your... And I have to look it up, I apologize, but there's a key light, a fill light, and then your, spotlight? Let me see. But basically, they don't use a fill light in this. A fill light kind of takes out the shadows. And there's so many shadows in this movie, but they did that on purpose.
Yeah, for sure. It helps build that noir atmosphere.
Backlight. Yeah, key light, fill light, and backlight is what it is. But yeah, it definitely helps with the film noir not having that fill light. But the shadows are you're in a room, and it's why are there shadows on the wall? That kind of took me out of it a little bit, but it's also the shadows are meant to represent the characters' internal conflict in a sense. I didn't love this movie. I know it's iconic, or it's least when it first came out, it didn't really. It made no money. European audiences loved it. And it eventually gained acclaim later in its film life. And, I mean, reading about it, it's there's so much more that I guess I didn't catch, in a sense. I don't know. I was kind of bored. The plot, like you said, is very unusual. It's very interesting. It was kind of hard to follow for me. And granted, I watched it in 2 separate sittings, and I wasn't locked in like I wanted to be. And I think it's because it was boring, and that's why I wasn't locked in.
Yeah, I think part of it is that it's very dialogue heavy. and like it, you know, like part of this I think is the style of that time period, but also like this movie in particular like does not do a good job of like highlighting important dialogue. Like like a lot of the like key plot moving like lines are like buried under a bunch of other like random kind of filler dialogue, and it's like it's kind of hard to discern what's what.
Yes.
And like, you know, I'm like, that kind of sounds like a millennial or like, you know, Netflix era thing to say, but like, I'm not like, when we watch these movies, like I'm not looking at my phone, I'm watching the movie, I'm paying attention. Like this one in particular had me stumped a few times about like what's really going on here. Cause like the part of it, I mean, we've talked about other movies from like the 50s and even the 60s where like the dialogue delivery is just like rapid pace, and it's sometimes very hard to tell like what's important and what isn't. And this movie is like a case of that, I think.
Yeah, this movie, it's Orson Welles. I mean, Citizen Kane, I've mentioned before, is so boring to me. Plot wise, it's like the way it's done and acted and shot and edited is amazing. And that's like this movie to me. It's like boring and weird, and Orson Welles is fucking awesome in this movie. He's so awesome in this movie. And so I don't know if you know this, but like Orson Welles eventually later in his life gained a whole bunch of weight and died of a heart attack. And in this movie, I thought it was how he was, like, you know, how he had gained his weight. It is not that case. Did you know that?
No.
That's all prosthetics and padding.
Oh, wow. No, I thought he was always like a large guy, but that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, the makeup in this movie is incredible. I thought it was so well done. Yeah, I mean, fuck. He added 60 pounds of body prosthetics and makeup, along with a fake nose to play a man 20 years older than himself. So impressive. And he does such a great job as kind of that veteran detective that's, you know, groveling all the time. And the big theme that I took away from this movie and I thought is really cool is, but it's like, again, I needed to pay a little bit more attention, and I'm guilty of not in this movie. And I was reading more about it, and I was like, oh, that's super cool. The touch of evil, I think, is referring to Orson Welles' Quinlan, his character's like justification of his methods, his unorthodox methods of justice and police work, where he's planting evidence on people, but he uses his intuition, and it's like that's his touch of evil. It's like, I'm doing this bad thing to make a good thing happen, and it's like I'm escalating justice. I'm being the judge, jury, and executioner, like, and I'm getting this taken care of quick so I can move on to the next thing. And it's like, that's his touch of evil, which is really cool and great. And what's funny is Orson Welles hated that title initially and eventually grew to love it. And I think it fits well with that theme, where you've kind of got Vargas, who's the by-the-book cop, and you've got Quinlan, who's not, and it's them kind of going head-to-head with each other. And again, it's like Quinlan framing Sanchez with dynamite, and it turns out in the end that he actually was the culprit that blew up the car in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's pretty cool. But it took a lot to get there, in my opinion. There was a lot of bloatiness. Like, I also read that he also used to be by the book, and because his wife died, he became an alcoholic and started getting deeper and deeper into his evilness. Was that shown in your cut? Because I don't think that was shown in my cut.
He like, there's a scene where he's in, I think the bar when he's drinking, he's talking to, his like, deputy or whatever, like or his partner. Mm-hmm. And he briefly just kind of like monologues about how his wife died and like, you know, his life went to shit. And then like, but like, it's not elaborated to the extent that like you just
Yeah
said. I think like this seems to be one of those movies where I think people read a lot into things, you know, and kind of like prop it up maybe a little bit. Not to say like,
yeah,
that it's not like deserving of some of the praise and stuff, but like, you know, how like particularly like cinema like reviews, like people like to bandwagon onto like certain things, you know,
Yeah.
a lot. Like if like one particular reviewer is like, oh, this is like an absolute gem, then all of a sudden everybody comes out of the woodwork like, oh yeah, it totally is, you know.
Yeah, I know what you
Like-
mean. Yeah, it's like people. I mean, and it's cool. Like people can elaborate on the backstory of a character in a sense. It's like, oh, this is what Orson Welles was trying to mean when he's like, my wife died, and this is the cause of everything, and I get why his character is this way. It's like, yeah. I mean, again, I probably need to rewatch this movie at least for the better cut. And in I watched it through Plex, and there was commercials like a decent amount, and it was super annoying.
I can't do the commercials.
The most annoying thing is I would like accidentally hit the back button and then go and hit resume to like play the movie again, and it would instantly cut to an ad, and it was like 180 seconds of ads, and I'm like, fuck, I just did that by accident, and now I gotta watch all these ads, and it took me out of the movie. So that's on me. That's my fault. I should have rented it from Prime is really what I should have done, but I was cheap. I couldn't find it I searched on Prime and I couldn't find it.
Huh, that's weird.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, all right, I guess I'll just do it on Plex. So that's why I watched it that way. But yeah, there's a lot of cool trivia on this movie, though. A lot of cool trivia. So this is very interesting from what I read. Orson Welles was originally hired just to act in this movie, but due to a misunderstanding, Charlton Heston thought Welles was to be the director. And to keep Heston happy, because he was, super famous actor, producer Albert Zugsmith allowed Welles to direct. Welles made major changes to the already completed script, including changing Heston's character from a white district attorney to a Mexican narcotics agent, changing Janet Leigh's character from Mexican to American, and changing the setting of the movie from a small California town to a Mexican-American border town. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That a misunderstanding caused Orson Welles to direct this movie.
And like Orson Welles was already super famous, like when this came out. So like it's kind of funny that they're like allowed him to direct. Like
yeah, very interesting. I wonder how like true that is, and how much if there's a little bit more than meets the eye with that.
I think I had read that Heston had requested that Welles direct it, and the producers kind of like talked to him, and Welles was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." But yeah, originally he was just cast to act, and then Heston's kind of prodding he had took it, but
very interesting.
It's more fun if it's a misunderstanding.
Yeah,
They
definitely.
just showed up to set one day and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna start rolling."
Oh,
Well,
I'm
it's
director?
like, I guess.
Okay, sure. I've done it before. I'll do it again. He also stated that his goal with this film was to infuriate the audience with the plot. Much in the same way Howard Hawks did it with The Big Sleep, the story became even more confusing when the studio recut the film and cut it their certain way. And it's funny because Orson Welles, upon seeing the cut, sent a note to the production house and was like, hey, this is how I cut it, and it should be released this way. And that memo or note was thought to be lost until it was found in possession of star Charlton Heston. He had it, and it was the basis for the re-edit and re-release in '98, which is very interesting.
I think that's super cool that like he actually kind of like lobbied the studio in writing of like what his vision of the movie was, to the point where somebody could actually cut the movie based off of that memo. It's like, that's kind of cool, I think.
Yeah, really cool. And I mean, there's like Orson Welles also said that this was the most fun he had ever had making a movie, unlike his other Hollywood films. He wasn't troubled by studio interference during the production, at least. He was given a healthy budget, and he was working with some of his favorite actors from a script that didn't involve a ton of symbolism and all-out cinematic trickery as something like Citizen Kane, which is kind of funny that he says that because, I mean, this movie has symbolism and, you know, there's a lot of subtext going on, and I don't know, it's just interesting.
Like, this movie is almost like art house, like,
yeah,
in the way it's shot, and, you know, like some of like the camera angles are like nobody was doing is it a Dutch angle where like the camera's like tilted and stuff. Like no one was doing that in like 1958 or whatever. Like, you know, like it's just like, and I mean like the lighting, like it there's scenes in this movie that almost look like those old like German like expressionist like movies and stuff, you know, where it's just like these like super stark shadows like everywhere, and like
this movie deliberately used expressionist lighting.
Yeah,
so it's funny you say that. But sorry, go on.
There's a part in the trailer where Heston and Wells are arguing in the doorway, and he's kind of accusing him of planting the evidence. He like holds up his cane, and it like blocks out like half of Heston's face with the shadow, which is a really, really cool shot.
It is a cool shot. There's one shot. I mean, let's talk about the opening sequence. My God, the 3-minute long take is incredible.
Very Hitchcock. And like seeing the bomb get planted, and then following it the whole time that it's ticking, like in real time. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah, and it's so, like, everything's done so well and planned super well. So I read that the opening scene took an entire night to get right, mainly because the actor who played the customs officer kept flubbing his lines. It was beginning to get light on the horizon, like the night was basically just over, and Orson Welles was like, all right, this is the last one. I'm only doing one more. We only have time for one more. And he's like, listen, like, you better not fuck this up. And he's like, if you just forget your lines, just start mouthing them. Or, like, just start moving your mouth and we'll dub it. I don't care, is basically what he said. And it's funny because the studio was like, yo, just fire the fucking dude. Like, get rid of him and get someone else. Like, I don't know why you don't just get someone else. And Orson Welles was like, no, he's good. Let's get him. And that last take was the one that's in the movie, which is really cool.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and this movie is shot entirely basically on location, like on real locations, which is awesome. Apart from there's like a 10-minute take in the Mexican shoe store, the clerk's apartment, I think, with the blind girl, and there's like a long take. And that was the only studio set, and the studio wanted to film on sets, but Orson Welles was like, no, we're going all on location, real locations. And you can tell, like, it's so cool, like the certain areas, and again, that opening sequence, it has a very nice presence. It adds a nice presence to the film. And like, even the bridge at the end, the climactic scene at the end where, Quinlan gets killed, like that whole sequence, like that area, that like the sets are great. And Vargas climbing around through like the cranes and stuff and through like that oil rig or whatever it was. Super cool.
Yeah, everything's very like organic. From like a set design perspective, like you're never like taken out of the action because of the set, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's done super well. I think it's. Again, I need to rewatch it because I feel like I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. But if you're like, again, I think the plot was a little convoluted, and it's just like maybe we're just being millennials, like you said, and being like, all right, come on,
It sounds like he even said his intent was to make it as difficult to follow as possible. But
yeah. But again, there's some. I mean, it's got a lot going on, despite that. I just think I do think it's funny that Charlton Heston plays a Mexican in this movie. I think that's funny and very interesting. I also read that Charlton Heston, Vargas, and Schwartz in the convertible when they're talking is the first ever time where a movie shot without a projection screen behind. We kind of talked about that with Hitchcock films. This was the first movie to do that, where they basically had the camera on the hood of the car looking at them and they're talking. And I thought that was such a cool shot and sequence.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. But speaking of Charlton Heston, he cites that not doing a Mexican accent for his character is one of the biggest regrets he has as an actor. He's like, it was dumb that I didn't do that, but I don't know. Didn't bother me. I mean, I guess it would have been more
better
authentic.
than him doing a fake Mexican accent,
Yeah.
Unless he could pull it off. But I doubt it.
Yeah. And then Marlene Dietrich is in this, who was in Witness for the Prosecution.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And Joseph Cotten has a very small role as the coroner in this. He does a lot of movies with Orson Welles. Joseph Cotten was in Gaslight.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So pretty interesting because, again, all these movies, I think what's funny is we did that with the 80s movies. We're like, oh, that guy's in Die Hard and, and he's in Lethal Weapon and, he's in Commando. And I feel like we're doing that now that we watch all these movies in random orders. We're like, oh, that person, I'm like, that person's in that and that person's in that, which is funny because, I haven't watched I never really watched a ton of older movies, and doing it for the older movies is cool because I always did that with any of the other movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just interesting to me. I don't know. I don't have a ton of other trivia, but again, the plot, it's why do they kidnap Janet Leigh's character? Just to blackmail and discredit Vargas is kind of what I was reading. It's I needed to read more about the plot because I was just I was confused by it.
Yeah, so I think the intent was to make it look like she was strung out on heroin, and then somebody would find her and be like, oh my God, Vargas's wife is a drug addict, so Vargas must be a drug addict too, and then his reputation is ruined.
That's right.
And then Wells's character can go on just planting evidence for the rest of his life and getting people convicted, I guess.
Yeah. Pretty interesting. I mean, the whole the Grandi character is interesting. When he gets strangled in his eyes when she wakes up is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But his character is interesting. He seemed to be. Was he the character that was Vargas was going after Charlton Heston's character, or was
So-
it like his uncle or something? Like
A relative is already in prison, and Vargas like put him away, so that's why he has beef with like the Grandy family.
okay,
But like, it's not clear if Vargas is like still investigating them.
it seemed like he
Like it
was
kind of is like, yeah, it's like he's kind of keeping an eye on them, but like not too close, type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The plot was a little convoluted and confusing.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, kind of like red herring subplots, that like try and like suck you in, and like, where the real plot is the like Vargas versus
Quinlan.
Quinlan, whose method of justice is better.
Yeah, that's a huge theme. It's like they both get the same result, but it's one better than the other, and it's like,
Yeah.
again, that touch of evil, which is cool. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I didn't love it. Do you have anything else you want to add for the movie? I really don't have a ton to say about this movie.
No, I mean, I thought it was a really cool movie. Yeah, I wish the plot elements were just a little bit easier to follow. And that maybe it wasn't quite as heavy with dialogue. Mm-hmm. Those are my two biggest gripes. I will say though, the one thing I forgot to mention about the opening scene, I thought it was so awesome how they had the car like leave the scene multiple times and then meet back up with the camera, like oh, it's gonna go explode somewhere, and like, oh shit, it's back. Like I thought that was like really, really
Yeah.
cool and like very suspenseful.
Yeah. I think I'd seen this opening scene, or there's a scene like it in another movie I watched in my film class a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And it was like some epic, long take like this, which is, it may have been this movie. But I read, there's one actually real quick thing of trivia I remembered. Basically, they rehearsed this movie for like 2 weeks prior to shooting, and they rewrote most of the dialogue while rehearsing, which was unusual. It was also unusual to rehearse, and basically it started like, because Janet Leigh said that like it's like you could feel the pulse growing as we rehearsed. You felt you were inventing something as you went along, and Mr. Wells was like wanting to seize every moment. He was just like all for, hey, give me these ideas. Like I want more and more and more. And it was like really cool and like a wonderful thing to be involved with, is what she said. So it's cool to hear like, behind the scenes stories of how it kind of came about.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can tell that this was not like, or this was an unorthodox movie for
Yeah.
the time. Like you can you can really feel it, I think.
Mm-hmm. So, out of these movies we watched, Last Temptation of Christ, West Side Story, The Outlaw Josie Wales, and Touch of Evil, what are your thoughts? Which one and which director is the best out of them?
Oh God. So, even though I really didn't like it, I think West Side Story was probably the best movie of the four. I mean, like, again, like in the episode, I talk about how I just don't like West Side Story, but like every other aspect of the movie was like unbelievable. So yeah, I think like, Spielberg really like killed it, and like we talked about how like that was a passion project for him. I think that definitely came out.
Yeah. I agree.
Outlaw
I agree.
Josie Wales, though, was also kind of cool. But,
Yeah.
you know, there's some drawbacks to that we talked about in that episode, too. But
You know, I didn't love any of the movies we watched this month.
same. Yeah.
And that's going to change with next month for sure.
Yeah, next month is 100% banger after banger after banger. So.
However, there are two that we haven't seen. Like, I've not seen. Okay, so next month, people. Okay, well, first watch of these directors, they're all good movies, but they're not amazing in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like compared to their filmography, that is.
Right. Yeah.
They're good. They're good. But yeah, so next month we are doing Heist Film Month, which I'm super excited for. We've got The Town with Ben Affleck's movie, great movie. The Italian Job, the original, which I've never seen. Have you seen that?
Nope.
The Getaway, which I've never seen. It's Steve McQueen, right?
I have not seen that either.
We've got Wrath of Man, which you've never seen.
I have never seen
And
it.
I'm super stoked. And then we've got my all-time favorite movie, Heat. It is my all-time favorite movie. I'm reading the sequel book right now. I'm almost done. We had it set for the beginning of next month, but I had to push it because I want to finish the book and then
it's
watch the movie.
deserving to close the month out anyway.
I
so.
agree. I agree. So I'm super excited to do Heist Month, and I hope we have we watch better movies, but they all can't be winners. I'm sure some of these movies will be in my bottom. Well, maybe not. My bottom movies when we do our wrap up for the end of the year. We'll see. From this month, that is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm super stoked for next month. I've always been a big heist film fan, and they're always super entertaining. And there's way obviously more than the ones we chose, but we wanted to pick some that I'll talk about it in next week's episode. So yeah, anything else you want to add, Jake?
No, I'm glad we watched all these movies. I like these are all unbelievable directors. So I'm glad we dove a little bit deeper into their filmography and found something we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, me too. It's always great watching something that you've never seen. I always am like, if someone asks, "Oh, have you seen that movie?" Well, yes, I have. And this podcast helps us do that. So hopefully it helps you watch these movies too, or rewatch them if and go back to them and try and revisit them under a different microscope like we do. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed these movies. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. We'll catch you next week with Heist Films.
Yep, see you.